I'm coming at you sideways. So 150 episodes in, and I think I might transition to this landscape live format. Way to go, Facebook. Way to update the system. So, first Melissa's musing on this landscape situation. I'm excited to, hey Wayan, thanks for joining. I'm excited to chat with you guys today about some breakdowns I've been having, and we get to chat about them and discuss it. So as you guys know, this is Melissa's Musings. I am Melissa Steele with Steele San Diego Homes, real estate agent extraordinaire. That's what I'm going with. That's my intro. I am pretty extraordinary, so I think it's fitting. Ooh, whoa, Facebook, what's happening? Okay, there we go. You can see me again. So, to give you guys a little bit of an update, you can see on my face today, there's no makeup because I've cried it all off. I have been having a lot of breakdowns today. So, because this is a Melissa's Musing, this is real life, and everybody experiences breakdowns. And thankfully, breakdowns lead to breakthroughs. So we're going to chat about it today. One thing that has been a big takeaway for me in the last 24 hours is, one, that breakdowns will lead to breakthroughs, but when we're sitting in the shit, it doesn't allow us to break through. So we get to get past it. Two, my self-worthiness conversation has been showing up a lot lately because I have not been taking care of myself and I have not been in the mindset that I'm worthy of doing so. So we get to talk about that too. And then thirdly, I get to tell you a little bit of a story as to why these bags are under my eyes today. So, to give you guys a little bit of an update, as you know, we have been working really hard on a variety of different things, not just the real estate, but we've got a few projects going on. We're doing really exciting, awesome things. But what I have noticed is I've been sacrificing my time. So instead of being committed to, as I declared at the start of the year, and I was actually doing a really fantastic job of it. I want to acknowledge myself for that because I was doing a really good job of replenishing my cup in an effort to then support and give from my overflow. And what I found in the last few days is that's no longer the case. And what I'm doing is I'm wearing myself super thin to the point where I just look like this. And I am in constant breakdown because I don't have the mental capacity to process all of these things because I'm not taking care of myself. So I get to continue to work on my worthiness conversation, the fact that I am worthy of the time and boundaries set for myself, and I am very deserving of them. So the lessons that I've learned in the last 24 hours around breakdowns leading to breakthroughs was, okay, so last night, I'm going to give you guys a little story. Here's the story part. So last night, I am working away, and one of the things that, John gave me some really valuable feedback today on, and I actually asked for coaching from some friends and got the same feedback, is that when Melissa experiences an overwhelm, instead of getting up and doing something else, which is the advice that I preach, and John kind of made a side note you need to rewatch your musings, and I was like, well, at the time I was like, you asshole, but then I was like, oh, he has a point there, because I do often preach that, and then sometimes, it's really easy to do as I say and not as I do, right? And we all experience that, and I recognized right away what he was trying to create in that feedback. It wasn't to make me feel crappy about anything, but it was really genuinely listen, babe, you give this advice and then you don't follow it yourself. And here's where my breakdown lied, because I was in super overwhelmed last night, feeling like I had a lot to do, a lot to get done. Today was a busy day, so I wanted to kind of start the day with a clear slate. And I ended up working till far beyond my bedtime, which is old lady status. And I was up till almost 1 a.m. working. And then, of course, I collapsed into bed exhausted. And something funny happened, actually. A little shout out to Brandon, one of my besties. He's one of the agents on our team here at Steele San Diego Homes, but he's also a fantastic friend. So I was just on the phone with him, kind of getting some feedback from him about the last 24 hours, and he was like, you gotta tell the story. So anyways, I'm in bed, just getting to bed. I conk out. I'm just exhausted. And it's after 1 a.m., and I've got to be up at 6 a.m.-ish. My alarm was set, and I was already kind of in the mindset oh, I'm not going to get enough sleep. But at the same time, I was telling myself, you're going to get the perfect amount of sleep. And I I was woken up at 4:30 in the morning with this panicky feeling because it was actually, so for Christmas we got a bunch of smart light bulbs and we've been using them, and I kind of have mixed feelings, to be honest. I don't know if they're as convenient as I'd love them to be. But anyway, so we have smart bulbs. And what had happened is in the middle of the night, I didn't realize this at the time, but I guess the power went off, and unknowingly when the power goes off, apparently when it comes back on, literally every smart light in the house turns on. So having gone to bed at like around 1 something, and at 4:30 I woke up to an entirely lit house, and I woke up with that feeling like, oh my god, I'm late. Oh my goodness, I'm late. And I like sat up straight in bed, and because I really had gone to bed so late, like when 3 hours had passed, I woke up in like a pure state of panic. And it took me like a full 10 seconds to realize what was going on. I don't understand how John didn't wake up. He sleeps through anything. But quite literally almost every light in the house was on. And I was so confused. Like for a second I was like, wait, what time is it? Our first meeting. Because usually it has to be pretty late in the morning to be getting that much light inside. Well, needless to say, it was just every light in the house was on. But I laid there in bed, and it took me almost 2 hours to fall back asleep because my body had, 1, felt like it was daytime. It was really bright. But 2, I had woken up in that state of panic that was so hard to kind of switch gears, switch mindset, and be like, okay, you're in a calm space. Like, it's gonna be okay. And the reason being is I didn't get a lot of sleep before then. I've woken up some days at 4 a.m. and like, that's the start to my day. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm ready to go. But in this case, not the case. It was like super dramatic, and I woke up like feeling so panicky. And then because of that, this morning when I woke up, I snoozed the alarm a bunch of times, which is super unlike me. And all day, I've just been in a really funky place, not performing at my best, clearly, breaking down multiple times. Like, I have cried a lot today. And, you know, the number one reason when I ask myself why, and when I continue to ask myself why did you go to bed so late? Why did you wake up in the middle of the night in a panic? Why did you feel so exhausted this morning? It all leads to the fact that my self-worthiness conversation was not there. And so all day I kind of sat in my shit, and I was just feeling really discouraged and really down in the dumps, and I was like, you know, we all have those days. And I think recognizing that we all have those days is important, but recognizing that we get to shift when we have those days. So what I've done today in an effort to shift is I've reached out for a lot of coaching. I've gotten a lot of feedback from people who know me really well, who know how I operate, and who know when I'm sitting in my own shit. Because like they were all like, dude, why do you just keep plugging in and like doing more work when you very well know that your best option is probably to get up from your desk and not work for like even an hour. Like, give yourself that courtesy. And I'm like, you know what? How many times do I have to receive that message until it's like, dude, get up from your desk and make shit happen? So that was a big takeaway. Another thing was, you know, allowing ourselves to receive feedback. John gave me some feedback today that was not super enjoyable to hear. He has a tendency to know me better than anybody. What a surprise. But in doing so, when I actually sat back and I let go of the, like, why does he say things like that to me? And recognize that he was truly coming from a place of love and being like, listen, babe, like, if you actually want these things for yourself, this is what you got to do. I recognized firsthand how important that is, to be open to receiving that feedback, to be accepting of it, and to recognize when we're in breakdown and when we are sitting in our own crap. So that was really powerful for me. And then just, you know, the sleep for me was such an important indication of how I'm not taking care of myself, because I get to, you know, like, taking care of ourselves is something that should be super easy, and it can be super easy if we allow ourselves that time and give ourselves the courtesy of a break like everybody else in the world does. So I've created some time in my calendar where I get to take a break in the next few days. I also have journaled a lot, and now I'm coming to you guys being really open and vulnerable about the fact that I am struggling and that I did have a pretty day. Like, that shit happens, man. You know, when friends reach out to me and they're like, I've had a terrible day, like, sometimes that happens. But I think there is always silver lining to be found, and today my silver lining was learning to recognize the breakdown. So instead of being defensive and being like, I'm fine, I was up till 2, but I can survive on 3 hours of sleep. If John's like, no you can't. And and so being open to recognizing and open to receiving feedback when you are sitting in your own shit. And then being open to shifting is really huge too. And learning from the lessons. Like, one thing that I always encourage people, especially my teammates that go through ALA, because, you know, a lot of people kind of come out of it and they're like, oh, like I still have the same pattern that I'm struggling with. Dude, like that doesn't go away. Our patterns and our negativity and like certain things that we've been programmed with our entire life, it's literally been the entire life up till now that your brain has probably been operating in that capacity. So be kind with yourself that it may take years, months, a lifetime. It may never go away. It likely never will go away. But you get to learn how to like dance with it and communicate with it and understand when you're sitting in that crap. And so that way it allows you the opportunity to shift. So tonight I get to get a lot more sleep. I'm setting that declaration right now because this look isn't serving me. I don't know if I look super fine to you guys right now, but I'm not feeling super fine. So I get to get a lot more sleep, and I get to truly restructure my calendar. John and I are bringing on another employee next week, so that's going to be awesome and much needed assistance. But we're basically, you know, really working on delegating and deferring tasks and figuring out what's serving us and what's not in an effort to create a better lifestyle for ourselves. And we all have that power. When I told John today, when he was like, why did you stay up till 2 in the morning? And I said to him, I didn't have a choice. He was like, no. He was like, everything is a choice. You chose to stay up till 2 in the morning. You chose to not defer, not delegate, and not delete those things. You know, like you chose to not do any of those options. You chose to stay up till 2 in the morning. And I did. Literally everything in life is a choice, and I take full responsibility. Sometimes it needs convincing. John will be the first to tell you that sometimes I'm not just like, thanks John for that lovely feedback. I will go to bed earlier next time, because we all know that's not how relationships work. I was like, how can you be giving me this feedback? It's so upsetting. So, yeah, hope this message resonates with you guys. I'm just coming to you, today with like kind of just a vulnerable, like today was a struggle day post. Because I am a firm believer that breakdowns always lead to breakthroughs, and they do. We just have to be open to seeing that silver lining. So, hope you guys are having a great night. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for joining, you guys. There's so many of you on here right now. I love it. Sarah, Cleo, Lucas, April. Hi, peeps. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.